What is up, guys? My name is Creature Play and welcome to my newest player review video. I'd like to give a shout out to I'm Mexican Pancake for helping me grab some of this footage. Today we are going to be reviewing the new Easter promotion 99 strong safety Night Train Lane. He's got 96 speed, 96 acceleration, 98 play rec, 92 man coverage with 100 zone coverage, 97 pursuit, and 101 hit power. He offers 10 to zone defense, 10 to man defense. Some of his other great stats that you don't see there: 91 catching, which is pretty decent for his safety. It definitely helps in his picks, you'll see. He's also got an amazing 87 block shed, which isn't as high as Taylor's, but it's still pretty good. Catch in traffic, 89. So that combined with his awesome catching, obviously you know what that leads to. Today is Thursday, March 24th. As always, prices will change. None have sold on PS4, but there is one up for about $5. One did sell on Xbox One yesterday for $3.5, and there is one up for $7 that probably no one will buy. Getting into his coverage, I kind of have an issue here. I know that every time I review safeties, this is the third safety that I reviewed now, I always talk about how awesome they are in coverage, and they are. Like, Eric Berry is fantastic at coverage. Sean Taylor was great, and he was better than Eric Berry, but this is just cheating. Like, I tested him specifically with people that I know usually moss me and get aggressive catches like crazy. So we tested it on Alshon Jeffrey, who I get destroyed by constantly. And in zone coverage, he only beat me one time. So honestly, I'd say even higher than 9 out of 10, which is, fractionally possible. But he just does not get beat in coverage. This was the only clip I had of him getting beat by Alshon Jeffrey, and that was just Jeffrey being Jeffrey. And zone coverage isn't the only thing that he's crazy at, because his man coverage was just as good, especially for a safety. I specifically tested him against Alshon Jeffrey on the line, who's got 99 release, and I pressed as well each time, and he still didn't get beat hardly at all. There were one or two times that I think he did, but even when he does, he still makes up for it and somehow undercuts the route to either chop their feet or to get in and swat the pass out. Now, I have used that Night Train Lane cornerback, and he's obviously not bad, but this Night Train honestly feels like he plays man coverage better for some reason than that cornerback did. The cornerback Night Train Lane is good, but he just isn't as aggressive as this card is at man or zone. It seems like he does everything in his power to swat the ball, and it happens probably 95% of the time. Right here on these clips, that one you just saw and this one coming up, he's getting beat on the press. Brandon Marshall and I think it was Alshon Jeffrey are both beating him, and somehow he still is undercutting the route or coming across enough to still get in and swat the ball. I also tested him against these routes right here, which get beat a lot, the corner C routes, and wouldn't you know it, of course he was there still every single time. The only time I noticed that he was going to look like he was going to miss something, or it looked like he was having too much separation, was when he was fatigued. But even then, he still somehow always managed to get some boost towards the end and still try to get in at least as close enough as he could to try and break up the pass. Speaking of his fatigue, he has way better fatigue than anybody else in my defense. He was always one color higher for some reason whenever I was checking my formations. So here you can see these are the few times that he did get beat. This was a streak with Gates, but I'm just going to chalk that up to Gates being Gates because he is way overpowered in this game. And this right here, he does get beat off the press, but you can see even though he does get beat, he still managed to come in and make the tackle before it was a huge loss. That quick short route was another one where he wasn't, aggressive, but he still was able to get in and make the quick tackle. He is fantastic at interceptions. In this one game we were trying, he had 6 interceptions. The only thing I do want to point out is that when I see my corner or safety out on a deep route, I 99% of the time will take user control of him and go for the aggressive pick. Do not do that with him because he has much better success on his own for some reason. I have no clue why, but it's the case. Now, the play rec and pursuit category is one of the biggest differences between the cornerback Night Train and the safety Night Train. The cornerback is not horrible at run support, but the Night Train Lane safety card is it's noticeably different. He's much quicker when he notices if it's a run. He doesn't drop back as far, and the angles that he takes are much sharper and shorter to get into the tackle. The cornerback Night Train Lane just took a little longer to notice what was going on and to get in on the action. His block shedding wasn't horrible, wasn't, crazy, but for the most part, it was fantastic for his safety. These clips right here are him against a tight end and then also against a wide receiver one-on-one. And for the most part, he got off the block, I'd say 8 out of 10 times. There were a couple times you'll see right here coming up at the end where he does get held up, but he does get off usually enough time to still be able to get in and make the tackle. But 1 or 2 clips you'll see he was getting locked up and he wasn't able to get off in time to at least be part of the action. Right there, he did get locked up. He got off, but he got locked up again. This one right here is where he still got locked up, but for the most part, he was ready to make the tackle. This was the only clip I had of him where he got locked up, and it was, actually detrimental to my play. Now, I don't ever blitz with my safeties, but I figured I'd cover all of my bases and just get some footage in case there are some people who do and want to see how he does at it. I'd say 5 out of 7 clips that we got of him pass rushing, he actually got through. But if he does get locked up on a player, it's probably a 60-40 chance if he'll actually get off. But he does have that great play rec to be, aware of what's going on and see which gaps to go through, which is a big deal. So for the most part, you should have success if you decide to pass rush him. But just be wary if he does get locked up on a lineman. It's probably 60-40 if he'll make the play. Overall, my assessment of this card, I love this card. He is probably the biggest playmaker I have on my defense right now, and he's just so fun to watch on the field and see the crazy things that he does. Obviously, he's not going to be in everybody's budget. I was able to sell my Tribute Woodson. I got about 1.3 back, and I spent a probable 8 disgusting hours in the auction house sniping the cards I needed to make the set. I don't like the cornerback Woodson in safety. He didn't really play that well for me. This card is noticeably better, and I do not like using cards out of position if I can avoid it. So if you can afford it, if your overall warrants it, I say absolutely go for it. He's the last safety you will need all year. I have my flashback Andre Johnson review coming out in a few days, so keep your guys' eyes peeled out for that. As always, thanks for watching. Take care.